There were countless amounts of people who were conducive to astronomy. They all assisted in giving a more valuable understanding of our universe.
First up is Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia contributed to astronomy by creating a 12-month calendar based upon the cycles of the moon. They split the year in half and named them summer and winter. To continue, Mesopotamians introduced ziggurats, which were pyramid-like structures used as an observatory to get closer to the sky.
The Egyptians were significant to the field of astronomy due to the fact that they created an accurate calendar based on the sun and the moon. They used astronomy in order to predict when the Nile River would flood. This was a good system because Egypt is mainly a desert and they could plant stuff in the Nile River Valley.
Stonehenge was a display of large stones placed in a circular manner. It is said that they were used for religious purposes as well as predicting eclipses of the moon and the sun. The location of this display is in Wiltshire, England.
The Chinese were most persistent at observing celestial phenomena such as solar/lunar eclipses, meteor showers, exploding stars, and comets.
Thales was a Greek philosopher from Miletus. He was born in 624 BC and died 547 BC. Thales was the first to use the Little Dipper as a navigation aid. He was also able to measure the height of a pyramid using its shadow.
Pythagoras lived from 560 BC to 480 BC in Samos. He was a Greek philosopher who was the first to claim that the Earth is a sphere. Pythagoras had a belief that when planets orbit, they orbit in giant spheres. When those spheres rub against each other, they make musical harmonies. Those harmonies are known as the music of the spheres.
Next up were the Babylonians. The Babylonians were the initial astronomers that divided a circle into 360 degrees in order to measure angles. They were also the first to record observations of things in the sky.
Next person to come up with something great in the field of astronomy was Aristotle. He lived from 384 BC to 322 BC. The discovery that Earth is made up of four elements, earth, wind, fire, and water, was his. He additionally had a theory that the Earth must be motionless at the center of the universe.
Aristarchus of Samos, living from 310 BC to 230 BC, created the first model which placed the sun at the center of the universe with the Earth revolving around it.
Edmund Halley was born November 8, 1656, and died January 14, 1742. Edmund predicted the orbit of a comet in which was later named after him.
Albert Einstein, March 14, 1879 to April 8, 1955, was the founder of the general theory of relativity. This theory was that mass and energy determines the geometry of spacetime and curvatures of spacetime. Wolfgang Pauli was born on April 25, 1900 and died December 15, 1958. He introduced two new quantum numbers. He formulated the Pauli principle, which stated, in an atom, no two electrons can have the same four electron quantum numbers.
Werner Heisenberg was born December 5, 1901 and died February 1, 1976. He was a key creator of quantum mechanics. His work was published in a breakthrough paper.
Edwin Hubble was a pioneer who lived in Wheaton, Illinois. He specialized in the field of extragalactic astronomy. He found that so-called nebulae were actually galaxies beyond the Milky Way. He also stumbled upon the fact that recessional velocity increases with its distance from the Earth.
Eratosthenes was born in 276 BC and died 194 BC. He used geometry to calculate the size of the Earth and found that Earth is 50 times larger than the distance between Siam and Alexandria. Copernicus lived from 190 BC to 120 BC. He discovered new stars with his own naked eyes. Copernicus also found that the coordinates of the stars changed due to precession. Precession is the slow circular motion of the north and south celestial poles. Over 2,000 years ago, Mayans and Mesoamericans used the changing of Venus's positions to track important events and predict eclipses. They also used the rising and setting of the moon, the sun, and Venus to create a complex calendar. Ptolemy was born in 127 AD. He was the first to complete the solar system by accounting for the motions of planets using circular motions. Ptolemy's theory was geocentric, meaning that the Earth is stationary in the center. He died in 151 AD. From the 15th century through the 17th century, Muslims and Arabs added their own new theories to Aristotle and Ptolemy's work. They built modernized observatories located in Cairo, Toledo, Baghdad, and Samarkand. Nicholas Copernicus was born in 1473 and died in 1543. He was the first to create a comprehensive heliocentric theory. The heliocentric theory is an astronomical model in which the planets revolve around the center of the solar system, which is the sun. Tycho Brahe was born in 1546. He made accurate astronomical observations only using his eyes. When unable to detect stellar parallax, the change of position of the stars, Brahe rejected Copernicus's model of the solar system. He then created his own model stating that the sun and the moon revolve around the earth while the other planets revolve around the sun. Galileo was born in 1564 and died in 1642. He followed Copernicus's theories of the solar system being heliocentric. With the modified telescope he created, he proved that the moon had mountains and craters, discovered the 4 moons of Jupiter, and the phases of Venus. Johannes Kepler was the assistant to Brahe and lived from 1571 to 1630. With the help of Brahe's teachings, he created 3 laws of planetary motion. The first law stated that planets orbit around the sun in elliptical orbits with the sun at one focus of the ellipse. The second law stated that planets move faster when near the sun and slower when further from the sun. Kepler's last law provides an accurate description of the period and distance from a planet to orbit the sun. The equation for this is p squared equals a cubed. P represents the period around the sun, and a is the distance from the sun. Sir Isaac Newton lived from 1643 to 1727. He is best known for creating 3 laws of motion. The first law is the law of inertia. This states that an object will remain at rest or in motion unless acted on by an unbalanced force. The second law is the law of force. This states when a force acts on an object, it produces a change in the momentum of the object in the direction in which the force acts. The last law is the law of action and reaction. This states that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. George Lemaitre was born in 1894 and died in 1966. He is most known for creating the idea of the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory is a theory that the universe may have been created in a huge explosion at least 12 billion years ago. Robert Oppenheimer was born in 1904. He spent most of his time researching theoretical astronomy related to nuclear theory. Oppenheimer was known for being the father of the atomic bomb. He was the driving force behind the Manhattan Project alongside Albert Einstein. He died in 1967. Fred Hoyle was born in 1915 and died in 2001. He is best remembered in the astronomical community for starting the field of stellar nucleosynthesis. Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson found cosmic microwave background as a support for the Big Bang Theory. CMB is the thermal radiation assumed to be left over from the Big Bang. If the Big Bang Theory was true, according to Wilson and Penzias, a glow of light would be detected only by microwaves. They used a supersensitive radio telescope or microwave receiver to help their research. Neil Armstrong, born in 1930 and died in 2012, and Edwin Buzz Aldrin, born in 1930 and still alive today, were the first men to step onto the moon in the Apollo 11 mission.